Long before cities, before gods, before names, there was a moment when being human almost ended. Not with a meteor, not with an ice age, but with a decision. A small group of early humans stood at the edge of darkness, holding something that did not belong to nature. It glowed, it crackled, it smelled of danger. Fire was not meant to be owned. For millions of years, it had only appeared as destruction. Lightning strikes, burning forests, death moving fast and loud. And now, somehow, it was here, contained, tamed, or so they believed. This was not a triumph, it was a gamble. Because the moment humans learned to control fire, they changed the rules of evolution. And evolution does not forgive mistakes. Before fire, survival was quiet. Nights were ruled by predators. Darkness meant hiding, freezing, holding breath. The human body was fragile. No claws, no fangs, no speed. Survival depended on blending in, not standing out. But fire made humans visible. It turned the night into a signal flare. Every predator within miles could see it. The first fires did not make humans powerful, they made them targets. This is the part of human history that is rarely told. Fire did not immediately create safety, it created risk. Smoke carried scent, light erased camouflage, heat attracted animals, curious, hungry, or threatened. A fire meant a fixed location, and fixed locations are deadly for prey species. For millions of years, mobility was survival. You moved, you lived. You stayed, you died. Fire forced humans to stay, and staying meant defending. This is where the evolutionary turning point begins, not with invention, but with fear. Early humans had no strategy for defense. They had no walls, no weapons worthy of predators like saber-toothed cats or giant hyenas. What they had was cooperation. Fire demanded group behavior. Someone had to guard it. Someone had to feed it. Someone had to keep it alive through the night. Fire could not be owned by one individual. It required trust. And trust was new. Evolution had shaped humans to compete within their own groups as much as with outsiders. Food was scarce. Mates were scarce. Violence was common. But fire punished selfishness. If one person hoarded it, the group froze. If one person neglected it, everyone paid the price. Fire forced morality before morality existed, and that pressure rewired the human mind. Brains grew larger not because humans wanted intelligence, but because complexity became unavoidable. Fire created social roles, watchers, gatherers, protectors. It created memory. You had to remember how to keep it alive. It created teaching, elders passing knowledge to the young. Fire could not be rediscovered every generation. It had to be preserved. This is where culture was born, not from art or religion, but from fear of losing a flame. But fire did something else, something darker. It changed food. Cooked meat was easier to chew, easier to digest, richer in calories. This allowed the human gut to shrink and the brain to grow. But cooked food also changed behavior. Raw meat required constant foraging. Cooked meat allowed storage. And storage introduced inequality. Some had more, some had less. Conflict followed. The first tools were not built for war, they were built for survival, cutting, scraping, breaking. But the moment a tool exists, it can be turned. A sharpened stone does not know the difference between wood and flesh. The first weapon was not invented, it was repurposed. This is where the first human mistake may have occurred. Tools extended the body, fire extended time. Together they created power, and power demands control. Groups with better tools dominated others. Territory became valuable. Fire sites became worth killing for. The first wars were not about ideology or borders. They were about warmth, food, and survival. And unlike predators, humans remembered. Revenge entered evolution. This is not speculation. Skeletal remains from early Homo species show trauma inconsistent with hunting accidents, crushed skulls, embedded stone fragments, injuries inflicted by other humans. Violence became selective, strategic. Humans were no longer just surviving nature, they were competing with themselves. And then something happened that changed everything again. A body did not move. Someone had died. Before this moment, death was simple. A body was abandoned, nature reclaimed it, scavengers fed, bones scattered, memory ended quickly. But this time something was different. The body was placed. Not hidden, not eaten, placed. Archaeological evidence shows early burials with no practical purpose, no protection from predators, no efficiency, just effort. Time wasted, energy lost, risk taken. Why would a survival-focused species do something so useless? Because death had become personal. Fire had extended human life expectancy. Tools had reduced daily mortality. Bonds had formed. When someone died, their absence mattered. They were not replaceable. They held knowledge, roles, relationships. Burying the dead was not about the afterlife. It was about the living. It was the first admission that humans were more than biological units, and that realization was dangerous. Once humans began assigning meaning to death, they began assigning meaning to life. Hierarchies formed, leaders emerged, elders gained authority. Stories were told around firelight, not facts, but explanations. Myths were born to explain fear, and fear is powerful. Fire, tools, burial, these were not independent innovations. They formed a chain reaction. Each one increased survival in the short term, but amplified risk in the long term. Humans became visible, territorial, violent, and emotionally complex. Evolution had not designed them for this. For the first time, natural selection was no longer the only force shaping humanity. Culture began to outpace biology. A bad idea could spread faster than genes. A violent leader could destroy an entire group without any genetic disadvantage. Human evolution became unstable. This instability nearly ended us multiple times. Population bottlenecks show moments when humans were reduced to a few thousand individuals. Climate shifts, volcanic winters, resource collapse, all amplified by human behavior. Fire consumed forests. Overhunting wiped out megafauna. Tools allowed efficiency without restraint. The human brain was powerful, but immature. And yet, somehow, humans adapted. They learned restraint. Cooperation scaled beyond family units. Language became precise. Rules emerged. Fire circles became meeting places, not just survival hubs. Burial became ritual. Ritual became belief. Belief became social glue. The same mistakes that almost ended humanity became the foundation of civilization. This is the paradox of the evolutionary turning point. Fire almost killed us. Tools almost destroyed us. Meaning almost fractured us. But without them, we would not exist. Every modern human carries this contradiction. We are a species shaped by dangerous decisions that worked just well enough to continue. We are not the product of perfect adaptation. We are the product of survival through error. The first human mistake was not using fire. It was believing we could control the consequences. Even today, the pattern repeats. Technology advances faster than wisdom. Power outpaces restraint. The amber flame grows brighter, and the shadows grow longer. The story of the first fire is not ancient history. It is a warning written into our bones.